One of the things that people don't realize is that a lot of this is getting us into the position where we can be going on sets all the time. And a lot of us are, when we're starting off, we're in jobs that are taking up all of our time. And the great thing about building up freelance work as being part of your strategy is because so that you're making this great money as a freelancer and you're able to leave that 9-to-5 job and make more money and have more time that you can spend on film shoots and on creating. So freelance work is part of the equation. That's why brand ambassador work is so good, because you can do that for the next 10 years in between your film shoots. So you're always having money coming in. And that work you can just turn down. And that work doesn't take a lot of brain power. And you can work with really cool people that you can end up making films with. One of our people worked with Weird Al Yankovic on doing brand ambassador work. So I really like this work. So I think that it should be part of, if you want to, make it part of your what you do. Higher pay than background work. But background work is something that we also can do, but it's opposite from what you think. Like we think, okay, I'll do background work and then I'll try to get production work from that. But that's not the way to use it. We want to first do the get on shoots method, which is what you learn in module 4 and 5, get on all of these sets, and then we go and we do background work. Like if you're starting this program, you're going to see me telling you, okay, go do some background work. Yeah, go do that if you haven't done it before, just to go out and meet people and watch these sets. But you're not going to really have what you need quite yet to get the production jobs when you're doing background. You're just wanting to meet everybody. When you're doing the get on shoots method, you're meeting people that are, some of them getting into the business, some of them are working with people that are actually in the business, and you're meeting all these people that you can now use that work, and you're getting experiences on these sets doing camera, doing production design, doing voiceover. Maybe you shoot behind the scenes so that you can use that on your resume, and then you can use that work to solidly get Netflix jobs, the paid stuff. Now, the big thing that people don't realize, you got to build a base. That is the biggest mistake I see people make. They don't have a big enough base. So remember, it's base. It's this part. This base is the biggest part. The 20 shoots is the smallest part. When you're starting off, you're doing the 20 shoots. One of my first people that mentored me, his name is Rick Waddell, and he had been sound mixing for maybe 25 years. He had all the equipment. He knew all the people. He was good, you know? But he did not have big enough base. So he barely worked. There are so many people that are really good at the job, that know people, but not enough people, that have all the equipment, and they're not working enough. In fact, in the film industry, there's a ton of people like that. That's why I'm constantly telling you guys to use these sets and get on a lot of sets, and you need a lot of connections. It's not just like, oh, I just need to meet one person that's going to get me in. You need to have like hundreds of connections, and then you need to learn how to develop those connections as far as making friendships with these people and keeping in touch with them. And these are not people that are trying to get in the business. A lot of us have friends of other people that we've met in classes or maybe at film school, that some of them are still trying to get in business, still trying to break in, and those are our connections. Those are not the connections that I want you to be focusing on. Those are good. They can get you on a set, but what I want you to really do is your main focus, everything in your mind is all going towards getting on TV show sets, feature film sets, commercial sets, where you're meeting production managers and producers and directors and production designers and DPs and first ACs, where those are your main people. And those people are not found in the free world. Those people are found in the paid world because they're professionals. That means that all that they are spending their time on is paid work, like myself. By the way, you guys know how much money I make, and I love to tell you this not to brag. It's so that you see how much money there is in this business, and you hear it from somebody that is constantly doing it. I'm so in demand because I got a huge base Base is the biggest part. Base means that work comes to me. I got emails come to me all day long and text messages. Are you available? Are you available? Are you available? And I'm sending that work all over the place. I send some of it to Joe. I send it to other mixers. I send it to other people. I send it to DITs. I send it to other positions because I talk to people on set that are looking for those people, and I am constantly sending work. You're working with people and you're like, you might be like, okay, I'm on set. I really want to be an actor. I really want to be a director. I really want to be a DP. That's what I want to do. But I'm on set as a production assistant. It doesn't matter what position you're on set. What matters is that you are there and you're making relationships with people and they're seeing that you've got get a factor, that you're great, that they like you, that they're going to put you in their phones and refer you again as production assistant because that's where you're at right now. And you're using that job, everybody's using that job to move into what they want to do. And you're doing this in a month, 400 people a month. That's the goal. So I want you to be thinking like that instead of like, I got to find somebody to get me in. You know what I mean? This is a whole lot of stuff that's going on that's going to get you super frickin' in demand. Pretty soon you've got a list of 1,000 people and that's your magic list. A great way to do it is production assistant jobs. Now, here's what I want to tell you. Some of you guys are like, okay, I really just want to get the camera assistant jobs. I really just want to get the PA jobs, the stills jobs, the production designer jobs, because, I mean, that's really what I want to do, and that makes me feel better, and that I can get that kind of work. You can get stuck. It actually can be a trap where you've got these people that you're working with that keep calling you for production design work that you're making $300 a day and you're working your tail off and you keep working with those people and a year passes and then another year passes. And it's stuff that was exciting to you initially, but then what you realize is that you're doing this kind of work, but it's not Netflix feature films and you're not making the connections at Netflix feature films, which that was the goal. So what I want you to do is I want you to combine taking those opportunities where you're actually being a production designer, you're acting, you're directing, you're DPing, you're camera operating. Combine it with Netflix feature films. You've got both things happening for you. These relationships at Netflix, Disney, which is just people that you're working with, those have to be developed. And the best way to develop those is to be working on your other stuff where you're DPing, directing, production designing, and then PAing on the big sets because those are union sets and you have to be in the union to be able to get those craft jobs. So you're PAing on the big TV shows and feature films just to meet those people. And it's the magic combination because you can talk about that you're production designing on this non-union, smaller budget work where you're making $300, $400 a day. Now, the people on the big stuff is going to be like, oh, that's great, that's awesome. And they're going to put you in their mind as somebody that can do that lower budget work. And it's going to take time to make those relationships with those people at Netflix. Now, how did you meet them? Doing production assistant work on the big stuff. So that's a magic formula. If you're only PAing on the big stuff, on the big TV shows, and you're not doing any of the craft work, the DP work on the smaller stuff, then all you can talk about is that you're a great PA. And that's wonderful, but you're going to need to get pulled. You need to give yourself direction so that people know how to help you, because they will pull you into their departments if you're like, hey, I'm thinking that I want to get into art department. I would love to eventually be an art director. And then you hang out with the art director on set and you bounce around. You might not want to work on a TV show for 6 months. You might want to be a day player and bounce around. So this is where you start getting into the career strategy, where you're a day player so that you can meet the different people on these sets, where you're a production assistant on various different TV shows, meeting different art directors and production designers. That's what I did. I was working behind the scenes on feature films and commercials, doing sound behind the scenes. So I'm like one of the behind the scenes crew. I was making $600 a day. And I was meeting all of these people, mixers, DPs, ACs, and I got to talk to them. I got to look at their equipment. I got to watch them. I got to hear the sound because I was, getting a feed from them. I got to learn so much from these big sets before it was my ass on the line. And that's what's great about it. That's what's great about meeting these people and learning from them. And then they know you, they like you, they got to see you rise, and then they start sending you work. You establish a history with people, and then they hire you. When you meet people on set, what you want to do is actually connect with them. And then you sit there and you really listen to what they say. Now they may, depending on if they're really busy, they may not say that much, or they might be like, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? Well, and then they might give a thoughtful response. Some people will. And then you can really connect with them. You must listen instead of it being a surface conversation. And you'll see that this is a way that you can connect with people. I love that question. How are you feeling? But, maybe later on, let the day kind of go on. Let people get their job going. Because remember, in the beginning of the day, no matter how long you've been doing this, when you come to me in the beginning of the morning and the shot is going to be set up at, we're going to be shooting in an hour, I'm not interested in having any conversations, really. I mean, I might be like, hey, really good, how you go, high five, really happy and everything. But if you are like, so how'd you get into, whatever you're doing? I'm just gonna be like, talk to me later. And I'm a little bit annoyed because you're just like, it's a lack of get it factor, basically. You really get good at reading their body language, having these very light conversations, light ways of interacting with people, using a light tone of voice with them, and just really caring about them. It's so funny. I used to be so focused on making those connections and relationships. I'd be like, what can I say to that person to kind of get a conversation going? Like, so what kind of music do you like? Oh, so where'd you go on vacation? I'm just trying so hard. And it doesn't really work very well because everybody can see through that, It's really, what you want to be focusing on is really your job. When you're trying to force an outcome, you cannot force the outcome. When you focus on your job, like anticipating what might be needed, anticipating what's coming up, reading the script and being prepared, and thinking about what you can do to have the electricity ready, have a space cleared out for this other department. It's so funny because there are people on set that are like, I really would love to work in art department. I'm like, okay, well, where are they located? What are they doing? What's most important to them? What do they have coming up next? What do they need next for the scene? What is their equipment? Why do they have this on their cart? Why do they have this on their cart? And they're like, I have no idea. So that's what is so annoying to people, is when people are like on set, they want something without doing all of and getting that mastery and wanting to have that mastery. So you do your job, but you're paying attention to the department that you want to be in and really wanting to learn the inner workings of things.